Hi group, my name is Kendall Harper and I am going to share with you the 4 of the 16 issues that I feel are important as a beginner and the issues faced by beginning therapists. So one that I have that I thought was important was being honest about limitations. Whether that is like your own limitations, because I feel like so many of us, I know myself, I go into this thinking that I am like a superhero social work. I am going to, do it all, but I know that I have to be honest with myself. I work full time and I do at least 20 hours of my internship. Not to mention I do my homework. I have a house and 2 dogs that I take care of. I have a fiance and I'm also planning my wedding in October. So I know that I have a lot on my plate, and I have so many times thought oh my gosh, how am I going to be able to do this? But I am being honest with myself about limitations. So yes, my house is going to be a little messy from now until the end of my internship in December. But that's just something that I'm going to have to let go of and not be as strict on, because I need to accept that there are some limitations and I am not Superwoman. I cannot just do everything. Another one that I put was avoiding perfectionism. I am one of those people, I like to get my stuff done early. I like to get it out of the way. I like to do it right. I'm kind of a perfectionist. I freak out if I get if I get less than A on something. And I think I know for me, it's something that I'm going to need to avoid perfectionism, because not everybody is perfect. I am not perfect, but I know I strive to be, but I know that I'm going to have to, in this internship, just avoid perfectionism and just realize, hey, this is not going to happen. Another one that I have is dealing with clients who lack commitment. I had this happen to me today, actually. There was a patient who was an elderly woman and told me, that she is so depressed. She knows she's depressed. She thought that she was dying. She wasn't dying. And she's like, wouldn't you be depressed if you thought that you were going to die? And, they told her, hey, you're not going to die. Of these particular causes that she was thinking of. And so we tried, not really me, but my social worker that I follow was like, hey, we have these resources that can help you that are in your county. Then, they could even come to you. And she was just like, no, that's okay, I don't want it. And it was kind of hard for me to just, there's nothing more that we could really do. We just had to leave her these resources for her if she wanted to look at them. And it was kind of hard for me. And I was talking to Mary, my instructor, and I said, I was like, it kind of took me by surprise that somebody who was like, oh, I'm depressed, I know I'm depressed, I think that I'm dying. I was like, and then whenever we offered her these services, hey, these services can help you with your depression, all this other stuff, and they just, no, that's okay. I said that kind of took me by surprise, and I guess I need to be more used to them being not really wanting to. And of course, part of my internship is also dealing with people and getting them involuntarily into our psych facilities here at the hospital that I'm with. And so I know I'm going to have to deal with that, and they're not going to want to commit to that. They're going to be upset about it, but it's just one of those things that was kind of hard for me whenever there was somebody who recognized that they were having these symptoms. And I guess just because of my own knowledge, it's okay, if you recognize these symptoms, shouldn't you want help? Shouldn't you get help? And so that's something that I found out and struggled with today. So that was one of those things whenever I read, I was like, okay, yeah, that's something that I need to keep in mind. And then the last one I put was understanding silence. Sorry, this is a little bit more awkward than what I'm used to. Understanding silence. I don't particularly mind silence. I'm one of those people, I don't find it uncomfortable. But I've also, whenever I I wasn't an online student. I had an instructor who did a group therapy class, and we basically, for like one whole class time, we just sat in silence. I mean, there was no getting on your phones, there was no writing, you just sat in silence, and it was just to like show us to be comfortable with it. We would like lead our own groups, and whenever things fell silent, she didn't want us to like try to fill the silence. She said, just kind of revel in the silence. The silence can be good. But I think for some people it's kind of hard it's hard for people to be silent. Sometimes people feel like they always need to talk. Somebody needs to always be talking, and that's not always the case. Sometimes the silence, kind of just helps people gather their thoughts and think of these things. But I know that silence can be hard for a lot of people, and so I think that, if you can kind of get that, silence isn't always a bad thing, then maybe that's something that can help for beginners. And that is my 4, and that's what I've got. Thanks.